Welcome to Lunch and Learn, presented by Coda Bears. My name is Bill Golis, and today we'll be covering serial number tracking in Epicor 10. Alright, serial number tracking. In Epicor 10, we have the ability to track individual parts by serial number. There's three options that are set in the site configuration control. You need to choose how you're going to serial track. Either full serial tracking, where we're going to add serial numbers at purchase receipt, transfer order receipt, job receipt, quantity adjustment, and cycle counting, as well as RMA receipts, and track them in between all your transfers and shipments beyond that. Or outbound serial tracking, where we will only add serial numbers at customer shipment and site transfer transactions. And then the third option is no serial tracking. One of these must be chosen while setting up your Epicor 10 system. Serial number tracking is a three-step process. You need to set up the serial number format for a part, specify that that part is serial tracked, and assign a format. We will show that in the demonstration coming up. We will then assign serial numbers to those parts as they are received or manufactured, or both in our particular case we're going to demonstrate today. And then you track those serial numbers. The serial number tracker allows you to review job that serial numbers were used in, what parts, what component parts, etc. There's also serial number maintenance, which allows you to modify that information in the event that you have an issue with what has been entered for serial number tracking. You can change the status, the location, supplier IDs, pack slips that are associated with, etc. And you use that serial number to track any issues or any recalls and such that you have with a serial tracked part. Serial masks. Serial mask formats define what characters you can use in a serial number. Epicor 10 has a number of predefined serial masks, but you can also create your own masks, and within those masks, special characters that you see here on the left identify what the characters that are allowed within that serial number format. For instance, you can see here that they have on the bottom in the grid, you can see different preloaded serial masks and how the mask looks and how an example of it would be. You see alphanumeric with just numbers or letters. You can even do a part number with a date and a number afterwards here. I have one of these for our examples. This is a pretty nifty one. When you set up a mask, it can be for generation or validation only. When you use it for generation, the system will generate that serial number for you when you prompt it to. Validation masks can be used for just checking the format. So you may have a serialized part that arrives from a vendor or from a customer that's pre-serialized, and you need just to enter that number. But if you know that it has a specific format it must conform to, the mask will be sure that your personnel that are entering it put it in properly. If it's not in the mask format, you can warn or you can prevent the transaction. And the warning versus prevent are also set within the site configuration. All right, serial number maintenance is when you specify the part as serial tracked and you assign your serial number to it. Then you assign the numbers and then you track them. This is basically what we're going to do here. We're now going to do a demonstration within E10 to show how this all works. Now on to our demonstration. All right, first off, we're going to show some serial track finished good along with two serial track components that go into it. First, we will show the components. Okay, here we have our blade. This is our 12-inch dagger blade, and you notice that it is set up for serial tracking here. Excuse me. And when you click on serial format, it will show you what the format is set up. And here you notice it's a serial mask, and it's set up to part date number here, and then it is set for generation. And we're going to let the serial mask starting sequence be automatic as well. That is one of our components. Now we're going to look at our second component here, which is our handle for our dagger. Again, notice that this is a purchase part and it is serial number tracked. If we check here, our format, we will see that it is set up to be date alphanumeric, also with generation. And then we're going to look at our final, which is our finished good component here. And this is the 15-inch dagger, and this is comprised of both component parts, the blade and the handle. Now we're going to use these components and top-level finished good in a job to generate some serial numbered parts, and we're going to buy the two components to the job. I've already actually created a job for this, so I will go to our job entry, and I'll show you that job. Our job is going to be 2414, and this is going to be for our dagger. You see here, and we are. If we expand our operations and our materials, you'll see this has a blade and it has a dagger handle. We are creating two parts to make the stock. And one of the important things, if we're going to serial track, is our operation. We have to identify that serial numbers are required from this operation here. See, that is checked. All right, and we also selected these two components here, the materials, to be purchased direct to the job. So now we're going to actually buy those materials. We're going to do that from Material Management, Purchase Management, and we're going to create a quick PO to be able to buy those parts. A new PO. We're going to create a new line for that. Or we're going to first put our supplier in, and we're going to use our favorite supplier, AZ Metals, because they make blades and handles. Now we're going to add a line here. And this is going to be for a job buy for our job. And our assembly is 0, and our material we're going to take is our blade first. And notice that it's going to populate automatically that it needs 2. And our required date is going to be right down the street here, 11/4. Beautiful. We're going to save that. And then we're going to add one more line. That's going to be for a job material again for our handles. This is going to be material 2. Again, everything looks good. We should have a price in here though, actually. Those are going to be $5 for our handles. And we're going to say it's going to be $10 for our blades, which is already in there. Perfect. We will now save this, and we have PO for our materials. Now, those materials are going to be received in for this job. Let's go out and receive those materials. And at receipt is where we're going to first assign our serial numbers to these two components. PO is going to be 4201. I'm going to create a new packing slip here. And now we need to go and add our new job material line. This is going to be line 1, release 1. You see it comes in with our blade and everything. I noticed that we have our complete 2 here. Now, we want to receive these, but we don't have serial numbers yet. If we say it's received and try to save it, it's going to tell us that we need serial numbers. Aha. So, it says we have 0 and it requires 2. Okay, let's add those serial numbers here. You click on serial numbers. Up will come your options here. Now you see there's a select, there's none that are available, and there's none to retrieve. It's grayed out. So we go to create serial numbers, and then we say add. That should generate a range, a range. You can add them singularly by clicking here, or add a range. We want to get both at once. Now back to select, we'll see both of them have been received, and with our serial mass format, which is the part, a number, plus the date, plus a numerical descriptor as well. So we got blade, then today's date, then 11, and then 12, so they're sequential. That's great. We're going to say OK. Now that line is set to be received, and we're going to add the next line. This is going to be for material 2, line 2 of the PO. And again, we'll have to add those serial numbers to those parts as well. It's going to be 2, and when we get to that, it's going to default to say that we got 2 in. That's what we did. That's what we ordered. We're going to go to our serial numbers. Again, you notice there isn't any here. Create. You go to format. It shows you what the serial number A format is. So we're going to go back to create, and we're going to say add. That should create two numbers. We go to select, and here they are. Now, I notice these aren't the part numbers because our format is, a month, date, year, and then the alpha and numbers. And we see here it's today's, then the alpha, then numbers, and then sequential. So it's assigning us all the A's and the 1 and the 2. We're happy with that. We'll say OK. And we're going to receive that line as well. Both lines are received. Both lines have serial numbers attached to those parts. When we say save there, and we go back to our job, what are you talking about? Sometimes it didn't want to take these. Let's see. Do we have them in here? It shows they're here for the blade. Okay. For the handle. Let's go to the blade now. It shows they're here as well. Okay. Save. Let's do a refresh. And then check them again. Aha. And one of them it didn't want to take. So we're going to go back to new job material line. And we need to put in the handle again, which was 2, I believe, right? Correct. All right. Let's check it received now, and let's go to serial numbers. None are there. We are going to create. We're going to add. We're going to verify they're there, and say OK. And we're going to save. Both lines are received. OK. Not sure why that happened, but we're good now. We should have both pieces received and serial numbers assigned. So we're going to go check our job, which should still be open here. And you see those are red. We're going to refresh, and they should go green. Because both our parts have been received, and I had them set to be issued to the job automatically. Great. So now we have both of our parts here, and we're ready to produce the job. So to produce the job, we just need to we run the job. That's been done. And now we're going to enter the time and material, which is going to, we can give the system information that we actually have produced the parts. Job management, it's going to be under time and expense entry. And at this point, when we create the pieces, we're going to need to do serial matching because we're going to create our finished good, and then we need to tell it which finished good got which subcomponent. That way, each subcomponent is linked to a finished good. Because right now the system knows that we have 4 parts, 2 of each with 4 different serial numbers, but it doesn't know which ones have been put together with which piece. Okay, so here we're going to do a new time. Take the defaults here, and then we need to do a new time detail to assign those pieces being done. Our job is 2414. The operation is going to be 10. And we're going to say that we did both pieces. They are complete. I'm going to save that. Now, you see how it didn't accept because we have not linked the serial numbers yet. So now, that reminds us that we need to go to our serial numbers. We say, okay, there's not enough. We need 2 more. Okay, so we're going to first say, okay, we want to assign these serial numbers. Same way as we did with the subcomponents. We're going to create. We're going to verify that they're there. The top level component has the part number, date, numeric set up. We're going to accept those there. We're going to save. That should give us 2 assigned. And now we're going to need to select which ones that we want for these parts. There's only going to be 2, we hope. Of course, only the 2 that we created. We're going to select them all. We say OK, and then we select. Now we have those 2 serial numbers assigned to our top level components, so we're going to submit. Now that has not linked them to the lower level component serial numbers yet. And we'll have to do that next, serial matching. Now that this is done, we're going to serial match. and that is from inventory, general ops, and serial matching. And you can do it by job, which is convenient. Our only job we have out there for this is 2414. Assembly 0. Okay, I'm going to save that. Now, when we go to matching details, we're going to see nothing there. At first, we need to grab our top level serial numbers. Here's the two that we have. These are for the daggers. Select all of them. Bring them in. Okay, and now we need to attach the materials to these two. First, we have 1, 3, and we're going to select here, and we're going to say what's available to match. You retrieve those. You see there's 2 available from the blades. We'll select one blade. We'll say, match. That matches that blade. See how the one goes away. Then we're going to select a handle, retrieve. We're going to select this one, and we're going to match it. Okay, now those have been matched to top level component 1, 3. Then we're going to select 1, 4, and we're going to retrieve. This should only be, you have to select down here on the material first. Now we're there, available to match and retrieve. Now this will show just one left because we've already consumed the one. We're going to match that blade with this dagger, and then we're going to go to the handle, available to match, retrieve it, select it, and match it. Now everything has been matched. There's one blade and one handle matched to each of our 2 completed daggers. We will save that, and we're serial matched. Now we're going to create an order and ship these out and show how we have them recorded within the system. Need to do a quick order, so we're going to go to sales in order. And we'll go to that single screen order so we can do it real fast and show how these are going to ship out and how we've tracked them the whole way through. Okay, it's going to be a new order. Who's our customer going to be? Who's our lucky dagger customer going to be? We're going to say it's going to be Addison. We like those guys. Addison, they like large knives. Their PO is going to be here. Going to say they need it by tomorrow, so it ships by today. Okay, now we're going to add a new line. And what we're going to ship to them here is our daggers. There we go. It's a manufactured part. It's a dagger. The revs 1. The order quantity is going to be 2. It's all we have in stock. And we should be good. I'm going to save that. That's going to give us an order number. And once that saves out, we should be ready to ship and see what we have. All right, we have an order. All right, we are going to ship this out now. This is going to be from customer shipment entry. It's going to be a new pack. It's going to be for our order 5369. That's our Addison people that wanted to buy our daggers. And we need to add a new line. Again, 5369. It's going to be line 1 and release 1. We're going to ship complete. Put our 2 right in there. Now we're going to need to tell it which ones we're shipping. So there should be just one bin here. Holding them, correct. And then we're going to look at our serial numbers. And it's going to show us which one is to select. So we're going to retrieve all available. And guess how many we're going to have? Just the 2 we produced. We're going to take both of those and we're going to push them across. Now those are selected to ship. We're going to select. We're going to say OK. And now we are going to ship. If we save that there. Now we've shipped our 2 daggers over to our friends at Ace, and we're going to take a look and see what we can see from our serial number tracker and see how these parts went through. That's under inventory management and general ops. We should see our serial tracker hiding down here, serial number tracker. And there's several ways to search here. We can search by the part number. We can search by the job. or where it's starting at. So hey, first let's just look at our dagger. And let's just do a search. See, there's only these two here. We're going to select them both. We're going to say OK. That brings up those parts. And you see here is the serial numbers. So if we look at one serial number here, look at our transactions and retrieve them. It will show you every transaction against that serial number, the receipt, the manufacturing, the stock, after we built it, the shipping. And then you see the lower level serials here. You retrieve that. That's going to show you, each of the ones that we put into that. You see that in this is blade, etc., and handle, etc. Same thing with here. If we look here, you'll see here's the other ones. And if we have transactions here for the lower level, it shows all those transactions as well. And that's how you look. That's how you track your serial numbers. If we wanted to look at it from a different way, let's go here and let's clear this off. Let's say we wanted to look at the serial number. Actually, let's look at our packing list before we do so. Under our shipment entry here, hold on. This will be our last pack out here. Correct. Now, and when we run this here and print our pack slip, it will display on there what serial numbers that we ship. Therefore, the documents will go along with the parts, and you'll have a record that you can email or send to the customer. And here we go. Notice that below the on the line, it has our serial numbers that shipped. As you can imagine, if you had hundreds of parts shipping at once, that you could have a heck of a lot of printout of serial numbers here. I just grabbed one of those numbers there so we can show you how to track those. If you go into to your serial tracker, you can also put in a serial number and track what that number is associated with from there. If we put the number right in here and search, it comes up with our part. Then we go to our transactions from here, our lower levels, etc. And there you have it. Serial tracking in Epicor 10. I thank you for your time and have a great day.